The text from my husband said, "I'm leaving you for a 20-year-old. Emptied our account. Haha." I replied 2 words, "Good luck." 3 months later, he was living with his parents. At 45. The message arrived while I was wrapping a cashmere scarf for Mrs. Peterson. My phone buzzed against the glass counter. I looked down. There it was. The nuclear bomb dropped right in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon. "I'm leaving you. Moving to Miami. Melissa is coming with me. Joint account is empty." Haha. That laugh at the end. That 2-syllable taunt. It should have broken me. It should have sent me collapsing to the floor of my boutique, sobbing into the expensive merchandise. But my hands didn't shake. Not even a tremor. My voice didn't waver. I smiled at Mrs. Peterson. I handed her the silver bag. I wished her a wonderful afternoon. The only physical reaction I had was a slight tightening at the corners of my eyes. A laser focus. I waited until the door chimed, signaling Mrs. Peterson's exit. Then I locked the door. Flipped the sign to closed. I looked at the text again. "Good luck." That was all I sent back. "My name is Claire. I am 38 years old. I just received the most brutal, callous dismissal in the history of marriage." Mark was probably laughing right now. He was probably picturing me hysterical. He was likely imagining me frantically checking our banking app, screaming at the zero balance. He was visualizing his grand exit. But while he was gloating, I was planning. Because this wasn't a surprise. This was just the confirmation. The signs had been screaming at me for months. The late nights at the office that didn't align with his paycheck. The sudden password change on his iPhone. The way he started hitting the gym like a maniac. The new wardrobe. The slang words that sounded ridiculous coming from a middle-aged man. He was trying to recapture his youth. And I knew exactly how he planned to do it. 3 months ago, I found a receipt. Dinner for 2. An Italian place I love, but he never took me to. He claimed he was working late that night. That was the moment the marriage ended for me. That was the moment I stopped being a wife and started being a CEO. That same evening, I opened a new bank account. A different bank. A different part of town. Digital statements only. Sent to a secure email he didn't know existed. A week later, Mark suggested we combine our finances. To simplify things, he said. To make it easier for us. I agreed. I smiled. I played the part of the trusting wife. I moved my personal savings. But not to the joint account. I moved them to my secret vault. The joint account he just emptied? It had exactly enough money in it to keep him from getting suspicious. 2 months of deposits. Maybe 3. Enough to buy a couple of first-class tickets and a few nights at a hotel. But the rest? The real money? The profits from my boutique? Safely tucked away. Along with a dossier. A digital folder filled with every suspicious transaction he had made for a year. My phone buzzed again. "Don't bother begging. Melissa and I leave tomorrow. I'll send for my things later." Melissa. The receptionist. I met her at the Christmas party. I watched her laugh too loudly at his terrible jokes. I saw her hand linger on his bicep. She was young enough to be his daughter. She was naive enough to think she was the love of his life. She was just another prop in his midlife crisis. I didn't respond. I didn't give him the satisfaction. Instead, I dialed a number I had saved 2 months ago. "My lawyer." "It's time," I said. My voice was ice. He made his move. My lawyer didn't waste a second. "Papers are ready. I'll file first thing in the morning. Do you want him served in Miami?" "No," I said. "No rush. Let him think he won first. Let him enjoy the flight." Another text came through. "I know this is hard. You aren't getting any younger. At least you have your little shop to keep you busy." My little shop. That hit a nerve. The boutique I built from the ground up. The business that generated 3 times his salary. The empire he called a hobby. I smiled. I looked around my store. My inventory. My hard work. My assets. All protected. All mine. I spent the evening in my house. My house. Inherited from my grandmother. Kept in my name. He had begged me to add him to the deed for years. "Just for safety," he said. "Just for tax reasons." I never did. Another gut instinct that saved my life. I poured a glass of wine. The expensive stuff. This was a celebration. I found our wedding album while looking for the deed. I looked at the man in the photos. He looked decent then. Now? He was a caricature. Tight shirts. Dyed hair. Desperate. My phone kept lighting up. He was drunk on his own ego. "I've been planning this for months. Melissa understands me. You'll be fine. Find someone your own age. My family knows. They agree we grew apart. It's nobody's fault." Screenshot. Save. Screenshot. Save. Every text was a gift. Every admission was a nail in his coffin. My lawyer was going to love this. Premeditation. Adultery. Financial malice. He was handing me the divorce on a silver platter. Then came the cherry on top. By the way, I used the joint credit card to book our flights and hotel. Consider it a parting gift. LOL? Perfect. I set down my wine glass. I picked up the phone. I called the credit card company. This is Mrs. Harrison. I need to report fraudulent charges. I need to cancel a card immediately. The voice on the other end was professional. Can you identify the charges, ma'am? 2 first-class tickets to Miami. Purchased today. Hotel charges at the Royal Palm. I did not authorize these. My husband has stolen my identity and emptied our bank accounts. Do you have proof? I have text messages from him admitting to the fraud. He admits to taking the money and using the card without permission. I'll freeze the account immediately, ma'am. The charges will be reversed. The tickets will be voided. I hung up. I took a sip of wine. Tomorrow morning, Mark and Melissa would walk up to the check-in counter. They would hand over their passports. They would wait for the boarding passes. And they would be told the tickets were invalid. The card was declined. The reservation was cancelled. My phone buzzed. Don't worry about the house. I'll let you stay until you find something smaller. I laughed out loud. The audacity. He thought he owned my grandmother's house. He thought he could evict me. Another buzz. And I know the shop means a lot to you. We can work out a payment plan for my half. His half. The business I started with my own savings. The business he mocked. The business he contributed $0 and 0 hours to. Tomorrow, Mark was going to learn a very painful lesson about property law. But tonight? Tonight was for peace. Morning came. My phone was exploding. Angry texts. Desperate texts. What did you do to the card? Airline won't let us board. Hotel cancelled. Answer me. I put the phone on silent. I went to work. It was Friday. New shipment day. Designer handbags. High margin items. Life continues. Even when your husband is having a meltdown at the Delta terminal. Around noon, the landline rang. It was his mother. Barbara. Claire, she started. Her voice was cold. Mark told us everything. He told us how controlling you are. How you drove him away. I put her on speakerphone while I arranged the window display. Did he mention he emptied our joint account? Did he mention he tried to take his girlfriend to Miami on my credit card? Silence. Well, she stammered. He said you left him no choice. You were cold. Barbara, I have the texts. He is bragging about stealing the money. He is mocking my age. Would you like me to forward them to you? He seemed upset. I'm sure he is. His credit card just got declined. I have to go, Barbara. My lawyer advised me not to speak to his family. Lawyer? Goodbye, Barbara. By 4 p.m., the gossip mill was churning. Mark's sister Amanda was talking to mutual friends. Mark and Melissa were stuck. They were at a budget motel near the airport. His personal cards were maxed out. He had no access to the joint funds. The Miami dream was dead on arrival. My lawyer called. Emergency hearing is Monday. We have the texts. We have the admission of fraud. We are going to freeze everything. Has he been served? Not yet. But we know where he is staying. The motel. His girlfriend is posting on Instagram, I said. She's complaining about the accommodation. She's trashing me. Excellent, my lawyer said. More evidence. Monday morning. The courthouse. Mark showed up. He looked tired. He was wearing those tight jeans. A blazer that didn't fit. Melissa was outside. She looked young. Painfully young. And bored. My lawyer didn't play games. She laid it out. The texts. The bank records. The fraud. The history of hidden expenses. Mark's lawyer tried to spin it. My client made a rash decision. But Mrs. Harrison is being vindictive. Vindictive, my lawyer countered. She protected her assets. She kept detailed records. That isn't vindictive. That is smart business. The judge looked at the papers. He looked at the deed to my house. He looked at my business incorporation papers. He looked at Mark. Mr. Harrison, the judge said. You sent a text admitting you emptied the account. You admitted to using a card for a trip with a paramour. Is this true? Mark shifted. I was trying to make a clean break. By committing theft? The judge wasn't impressed. And now you claim rights to her separate property? The business grew during our marriage, Mark's lawyer argued. The business was established before, my lawyer cut in. We have the ledgers. Every penny is accounted for. Mr. Harrison contributed nothing. I watched Mark's face. The reality was sinking in. He thought this would be easy. He thought I was stupid. The court finds sufficient evidence of financial misconduct, the judge ruled. All shared assets are frozen. Mr. Harrison, you are ordered to return the funds removed from the joint account within 24 hours. But I spent it. Mark blurted out. We used it for. Then find a way to replace it, the judge snapped. And Mr. Harrison? The court takes a dim view of funding affairs with marital assets. We walked out. Melissa was waiting. Are we going to Miami? She asked. Mark didn't answer. The sound of my heels clicking on the marble floor drowned them out. I walked back to my business. The business he never respected. The next few weeks were a spiral. Mark got desperate. He tried to claim he invested in the boutique. False. He claimed he was a partner. Disproven. My records were impeccable. My lawyer called me. He is getting sloppy. Melissa's social media shows they are living in her studio apartment. It's tiny. How romantic, I said. Mark's family changed their tune. Amanda called. We didn't know, she said. He lied to us. We saw the texts. We saw what he wrote about you. His mother called again. Crying this time. I raised him better than this. The things he said about your age. It's disgusting. I let it go to voicemail. I didn't need their apologies. They were only sorry because he was losing. My boutique was thriving. The gossip actually helped. Women came in to support me. They bought bags. They bought scarves. They told me their own horror stories. My ex tried this, a customer told me. He thought he could take it all. Men like that always underestimate us. My phone buzzed. Mark. You ruined everything. I never meant to hurt you. Can't we work this out? The business is nothing without me. I forwarded it to my lawyer. Delete. Block. Melissa was waking up. The studio apartment wasn't fun. The middle-aged man with no money wasn't a prize. She posted about toxic relationships. She removed her relationship status. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. Then I remembered I remembered the cruelty. I didn't feel pity. I felt pride. I protected myself. The final divorce hearing was a massacre. Mark was broken. Melissa was gone. She dumped him for a guy her own age. Mark was wearing his old clothes. The designer gear was returned to pay back the bank account. His lawyer looked exhausted. Your Honor, his lawyer tried. My client provided moral support for the business. Moral support? My lawyer held up the screenshot. Have fun with your little shop. That is moral support? The judge ended it. I kept the house. I kept the business. I kept my savings. Mark got his personal debt. He got his car, which was underwater. You destroyed me, he whispered as we left. No, Mark, I said. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure I didn't go down with you. His mother was waiting outside. She was there to pick him up. He was moving back into his childhood bedroom. At 45. He was furious. You planned this? You knew. I paid attention, I said. And I kept receipts. His mother grabbed his arm. Shut up, Mark. You've embarrassed us enough. A 20-year-old? Stealing money? Get in the car. I watched them drive away. I felt lighter. I looked at my phone. No texts from Mark. Just notifications. New orders. Online sales. Money coming in. Life moving forward. 6 months later. The boutique expanded. Second location. Mark was still at his parents' house. He tried dating apps. No luck. Women his age didn't want a man living with mommy. Younger women knew the gossip. He was radioactive. His job took a hit. HR investigated his relationship with Melissa. He got a reprimand. He missed his promotion. He tried to sue for age discrimination. He lost. Amanda came to the store. She bought a scarf. He plays the victim, she said. But we know the truth now. I'm sorry we took his side. I nodded. It's business, Amanda. My lawyer shut down his appeals. He tried to say the text was a joke. The judge laughed at him. The magazines picked up the story. The Savvy CEO. How to protect your assets. I became a local hero. Young women came to me for advice. Separate accounts, I told them. Always. Mark's mom called. He's gambling, she said. He's trying to get rich quick. He blames you. He blames Melissa. He blames the judge. He won't take responsibility. I can't help you, Barbara. I hung up. I looked at the framed screenshot in my office. Have fun with your little shop. Below it sat my Entrepreneur of the Year award. Success is the best revenge. 1 year later. Third location opening. Grand party. Melissa walked in. She looked different. Mature. She looked ashamed. I'm sorry, she said. I believed him. He said you were a monster. Then he tried to control me. He tried to move in. He tried to spend my money. He needed an escape, I said. Not a partner. I know that now, she said. I'm seeing someone real now. We're building something. Good, I said. Learn from it. She left. My assistant asked, was that her? Just another lesson learned, I said. Mark's mother called one last time. Thank you, she said. You taught us not to enable him. We stopped giving him money. We stopped listening to his excuses. He's miserable, but he's finally facing reality. 2 years later. I was speaking at a conference. A woman asked, "Isn't a prenup unromantic? Isn't separate money a sign of distrust?" "No," I said. "It's insurance." My husband said trust was everything. Then he tried to rob me. Trust your gut. Protection isn't paranoia. My business was an empire now. 5 locations. 30 employees. Mark was living in a garage apartment. He lost his corporate job. He was working entry level. His dating profile was a lie. He used photos from 10 years ago. He listed himself as young at heart. 5-year anniversary. The flagship store was packed. Mark's mother was there. She was a loyal customer now. She pulled me aside. "I saw him yesterday," she said. "He was talking about the glory days. He still thinks he was robbed. He doesn't get it. He threw it away." I looked at the crowd. I looked at the young sales clerks. I looked at the new inventory system. I caught my reflection in the glass. I didn't look old. I looked powerful. I looked free. Mark sent that text to end my life. He sent it to break me. He thought he was writing the final chapter. He was wrong. He was just writing the prologue to my greatest success. He wanted me to be a victim. I chose to be a victor. I walked to the front of the room. I raised a glass. To the little shop. To the good luck. And to the text message that started it all. Success really is the best revenge.